Hello, 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 hello. I'm back. There was an outage and I got disconnected from the previous stream, guys. So let me make a post. Thumbs up in the chat if you can see my screen. Thumbs up in the chat if you can see my screen. Let me know if you see my screen in the chat. Outage on the streaming software there, guys. So do me a favor and let me know if you can see my chart screen. If audio is good, let me know if all the things are back to being functional as we let everyone else kind of join the stream. Okay. Looks like we're good. Let me share this. So welcome back, everyone. Streaming software crashed on me. So apologies for the interruption in our program. So we didn't miss much. Let me just make a quick post. Give me a second. Quick post. So we're still dancing around that pre-market high. We did respect that 575.74. Right, the streaming platform did crash on me, guys. So thank you for jumping back in the chat. Thank you for joining us again. Yep, that's the nature of streaming, guys. But so far, the only two trades that I did take are up there. We did get into that pre-market high. We did get above it, got back below it, and we're kind of just doing the pre-market high dance, getting above it, getting below it, getting above it, getting below it. Not really decisive on what to do. But the one thing we can say is we're still directional on the hourly, on the Qs, and we are about to become directional on the hourly on SPY. Didn't get my thumbnail. Let's see if I can switch that. So we're approaching that 10 o'clock hour. Make sure to like the video so we can get more people involved. I know the thumbnail's a little different, but let's get everyone back in business. So again, we continue to trade above, below that pre-market high. The one thing is, if we take a look at the 5, we can see there's a lot of wicks on those candles. On the top of those candles, there's a ton of wicks. So we'll continue to monitor that. See if that leads to the breakdown. VIX continues to show. VIX is still stagnant, right? It fails, is refusing to get back below that 1734. Still stagnant. So welcome back. The ones who were tuning in earlier. I did experience an outage, and we are back live. If you're tuning in for the first time, make sure to like, make sure to subscribe. So let's get the show going. All right, the show must go on. The show must go on. At this point, what I do see kind of forming, as long as we stay above that 50, we can possibly see a downward compression break taking place. Right, but we need to stay above that pre-market high to pursue that push into that 576.45. But you can see the contrast between where we're trading today and where we were trading last week this time. Right, if you go back last week this time, we were trading in a completely different range, completely different zone in comparison to where we are trading today. Did I make that post? Let me see. So the weird thing is, it ended my other stream. It started the GME stream, and then it started a different stream. So very strange, but we're back. We're back. So make sure to like the video, guys, so we continue to get that engagement. We continue to people who need this content to this channel. Again, if you're a first-time viewer, if this is your first time joining us, we go live every day at 9 a.m. with a comprehensive pre-market program, followed by live trading, live education, live everything you can name. At this point, we are seeing SPY continue to push to the upside. We initially opened up. We had that baby gap up. Once we gapped up, we failed to hold that daily upside breaker. Fill that gap. Fell below the bottom of the gap from today. There's a bunch of gaps, bottom of the gaps and top of the gaps from the past handful of days, but we're just monitoring the one from today and the one from March 10th. We continued to sell off. We kind of formed that downtrend, came back into the zone, rejected off of the zone between that 574.82 and that 575. And right when we were here, that's when my interest was peaked to see if I can take that to the upside. So there was nothing for me to really take to the upside. We had that rejection. And when we came back into it, sorry, I was looking at it, up here. So I was looking to take it to the upside, right, but didn't take it. There was no confirmation. And then I was looking to take it to the downside once we came here because of the strength on the VIX. Ended up getting stopped out. I flipped my position, flipped my bias back into what I was thinking before, based on the price action, the fact that we're back above that level. Take a trade, nice double-digit gain. Runner, the full position did get all the way up to like 13-14% with that runner. Get stopped out on that runner, and then we continue to accelerate into that pre-market high, which is at that 576.05, and now we're basically just hanging out at that pre-market high. We're failing to hold above it sustainably, and we're looking to test that 50 and looking to test that top of the gap from March 10th. So that's basically what's taking place in the first in the first close to 1 hour of trading so far, right? So again, we're just looking for opportunities here. We did have a slight, the stream did get restarted, so face some technical difficulties. So very, very important to not let that frustration of the technical difficulties bleed into the next trade. So very, very important to keep that in mind, right? Things are going to happen. Things are going to happen while you're trading. Things are going to happen when you're doing things. So it's very, very important to stay vigilant, to stay sharp, and don't let what's going on the outside impact what kind of things you do on the charts. Very, very, very important. So this is still episode 11. So it's going to be 2 videos for episode 11. Two videos for episode 11. Anyone take any trades from the point where we cut off? Any positions? I think it was retired Fido who went long off of that bounce for that pre-market high. Not sure if you're still in that. Not sure if you still like it to the upside. So we have this downward compression forming here, and we're testing that 50. Right? 50 test in pursuit. Right, nice bounce off that 50. Our VIX is just refusing to give up that 1734. Refusing to give that level up. So pay close attention to that 575.74. Critical level there. See if that 50 can be a catalyst along with that key level right here to get that bounce back above that 576.05. Continue to push higher. Again, still waiting on that VIX breakdown right here. All right, VIX breaks down. That can be the fuel SPY needs to really get that bounce. If the VIX holds up and that 575.78 level TOG doesn't hold, yeah, the streaming software is giving me a hard time, guys. The streaming software is giving me issues. See if that level holds. Look at that. See if that level holds. If that level doesn't hold, VIX continues to stay above that 1734. Slide to the downside and coming. Anyone take any trades since we began this new stream? Gotta love technical difficulties, guys. Gotta love technical difficulties. Episode 12 is going to be put into 2 parts. Right. We had some good momentum too. All right. We had a good interaction on that chat. We had a bunch of people showing up. So let's continue to do that. So again, guys, we're at that 575.74. There's going to be a critical level here. Critical level. Make sure to like the video so it continues to get passed out, right? It continues to get passed out. It continues to get in the favor of the algorithm. And if anyone was kicked off of the stream because of the technical difficulties, it rebroadcasts and shows up in their homepage. If you were tuning in earlier, thank you for jumping back on. If you're a first-time viewer, we go live every day, 9 a.m., comprehensive pre-market game plan, along with live trading. So the basic thing I'm paying attention to here is how do we hold up on this level right here? What takes place here? What occurs here? Right? So the only two trades that I've taken was from the earlier stream. Looks like we're giving that up. We're back below that 50. Starting to slide here. Starting to slide. Okay. Contention here. A serious battle is going down. We are still in an uptrend on the hourly. See if that level holds. If that level holds, you needed to get back above that 575.83. Nice bounce. Reclaiming that 576.05. This thing can rock and roll and possibly push and test that session high at that 576.42. See if that holds. Right, significant slowdown in price. Significant slowdown in price. But again, to combat that, what you want to do is take further dated contracts. Further dated contracts is the best way to approach it. Five minute is looking good. 5 is starting to shape up. See if we get that downward compression break. After this accumulation, we had that initial leg push higher. So let's see if we get that accumulation break. In this case, we need the VIX to stay above that 1734. Let's see if we can at least make an upside move. All right, we went hammer on the 5. See if I can take advantage of that break. Right, small size. I want to see if I can get that break along with that VIX breakdown of 6%. See if we can hold above that level. I want that breakdown on the VIX. Breakdown on the VIX will be encouraging. Very small size here. Just 5 contracts. So this would be the third trade of the day. VIX get back below that 1734. We reclaim that 576.05. We have a chance at those session highs. I want that 50. If we can stay above that 50, that's encouraging. Above that 575.84 is that 50. Let me know who's back from the earlier stream. Let me know if you're back from the earlier stream. So we did have technical difficulties. If you're joining us from earlier, right, thank you for bearing with the technical difficulties. Currently in a trade here. Entered off that 570-574 bounce. Once I saw some strength to pick up in that price action and seeing if I can get this break back into that 576.05. Right, so this will be our third trade of the day. Same risk parameters. See if that 575.74 holds. Down 2%, 3%. Need that 575.74 to hold. All right, you can see this is what was taking place. See, we got a relief bounce here. We don't want teardrops. Relief bounce would be nice. Down 4%. If we can wick out of there, encouraging. just eating premium. So on the 5, I don't want to close below that 575.74. Right, I don't want this 5-minute candle to close below it. So we have this 5-minute candle is relatively still fresh. So let's see if we got that close below it. So if we don't reclaim it, I got that 10% stop on this, 10 to 15%. See if we could reclaim and push back to the upside. Take that thing back to the upside. Still in the position. Down about 6%. Getting close again, stopped out, down 7%, 9%. Down 9%, getting close. 10 to 15 is that stop loss threshold. See if we get that reclaim off of this candle. That would be great. If we do get that reclaim, we need to get back above that 575.82. We need to get back above that 575.82. Right. It was up about 6%, now down 6%, was down all the way up at 9%. I want that close back above that 575.74, and then we're going to test that 50. We got to get back above that 50. If this thing continues to slide, it might reach into that 575.39 before it bounces, or that VWAP. But I can't sit through that. I'm going to sell right here. For 13%. Right, 13% stopped out. That's my third trade of the session today. So took this bounce, was a take profit opportunity, kind of started to slide back to the downside and got stopped out for 13%. Again, I could have gave it a little bit more room to the downside here, but that goes beyond that 15% max that I like to sit through. Right, so there is the VWAP there. I could wait a little bit, waiting to see how that VWAP interaction plays out. But by the time it does get to the VWAP, now you're pushing 17 to 25% down on the position. So it's better for me to reassess at this level, and if I like it, to take it there. So got stopped out there. I'm satisfied with the stop out as the setup is invalidated. The primary thing I want to see is if we can keep a 5-minute close above it. Once we got below it, start to get a little skeptical. Gave it some time to play out, and eventually continued to slide to the downside, and got stopped out. Right, and that's how I like to manage the risk. So small red on the day. So I did use less size here in comparison to here and here, right? And you don't take any trades after the first stream, prior to us. So during this second stream here, and you don't take any position so far. Let me know in the chat. All right, we're trading in this channel. We can't deny it. And we have VWAP and monthly downside breaker incoming. And the VIX, man, the VIX is not wanting to break down or break up. Right, that's what's kind of causing that congestion. That's what's causing the congestion. Right, out of that setup, so that's the third trade. So one worked in my favor, two worked against me today. And the main thing is when I was looking for that setup, I wanted to make sure that the technical difficulty, or the mental hurdle of getting over that technical difficulty, didn't impact my trading too much. This thing continues to slide on a 5 minute. Continue to slide here. Starting to show some strength on the VIX here. But that critical level again, guys, is that 1734. Do we stay above it? Do we get below it? That's going to determine a lot here. So VWAP test, 575.30 incoming. We're about 14 cents away from VWAP test. If you're just joining us, I took another trade right here. Was up about 6-7%. I wanted to see if I can get that bounce, continued bounce, and then end up getting stopped out for 12-13%. Right, so for the day, that puts us one trade worked in our favor, two trades worked against me. So on the week, yesterday, two trades worked in my favor. Today, two trades worked against me. So on the week, we are 3-2. This thing continues to slide. Next key level is at 575.17 and at 575. And guess where we come back into? This highly respected zone in either direction. Right? Will the bulls step up here once we get into that level? Or will the bears continue to protect that level? VWAP is right at that 575.30. VWAP test is incoming. A VWAP along with that 575.39, 575.30, 575.39 is that monthly downside breaker along that with that VWAP converging. Starting to get a little relief bounce here. See if that's sustained, but that is available for a quick scalp, right? These key levels, line those up with some other indicators that can really present you with great opportunities to take advantage of. Make sure to like the video, guys. Make sure to share and make sure to subscribe. 66% of the viewers are not subscribed, right? So we have a lot of people just watching and not subscribing. So make sure to subscribe. It helps the channel tremendously. And if you're getting value from it, right, make sure to show that same kind of respect. Make sure to show that kind of same love and respect and subscribe, right? It helps the channel tremendously. If anyone studied economics, right? If we have any economic people with an economic background, right? Subscribe and don't be a free rider or a free loader. If anyone took microeconomics, you'll know what that means. Again, VWAP, look, we're in full control here. Last 5, 10, 15 minutes. So if this VWAP along with that monthly downside breaker don't hold, right, then this thing can continue to slide to the downside back into that zone where we took that initial setup, right? Back into that zone. Make sure to tune in later this evening to the GME earnings. GME earnings. We're going to be hosting the GME earnings along with the breakdown. So make sure to tune in at that time. Right, stagnation in price. We can see we're trading in this very, very tight channel. We know where the support is, we know where the resistance is, and we know where the key levels are. So the question becomes, do we continue to abide by this channel, or do we break out of it or break down out of it? Right, once that's answered, we can look for our next setup. But again, we're getting close to that 12 o'clock territory. Keep in mind there's a significant drop off in the volume. Also, I want to bring this to your attention, if I can. See if I can look at some stats real quick. Take a look at some stats real quick. Okay, here you go. So yesterday, right? What was volume yesterday? 58. Okay. On the 21st, 83, 62, 66, 60, 49. Right, so this is the lowest volume day we had since March 17th. And very rarely do we break below that 60. Right, and March 17th, this was Friday, Thursday, Wednesday, Tuesday. So Tuesday and Wednesday, and a Monday. So Monday we had 49, very, very low volume. If you notice, we're starting to have very low volume on Mondays. We start picking up later throughout the day. Right, so very important for you to pay attention to that. Key level is still holding, but it's not playing out as smoothly and as quickly as you would like. But again, got to exercise some patience here. Got to exercise some patience. Textbook setup right here. We are at support, coming into that monthly downside breaker, along with that VWAP right under us. Multiple areas converging. So that's a nice opportunity there for a quick scalp. Now the main thing becomes, do we break out of this downward channel, or do we abide by the trend and continue to push lower and possibly seek that lower low? If we break out of here, reclaim that 570, 574, more than likely we can potentially seek a higher high and get back above that 576.05, which is that pre-market high. A lot of things need to take place before we even make a higher high. Right, but first we have to address this resistance right here. Right, are we going to get above it? Can we get a clean close above it and approach it piece by piece? The VIX finally broke back below this level, that's 1734. So I'm going to monitor this break of this downward channel very closely. Probably just creating some manipulation there. What a nasty rejection there, guys. Nasty rejection. We went 3 down right there on the 5-minute. We're still inside on the hourly. On SPY, we're still inside on the hour. We're directional on the Qs, but we're failing to hold enforcement. Thanks for jumping in the chat. 2 cents. Just tuning in. Do you think it will go back up to the highs? It can, but it has to get through a bunch of obstacles before it does that. Right? It needs to get back above. It needs to break out of this downward channel. It needs to get back above that 575, 74. So if we can do those things, it has potential to do that. Right? But the likelihood of it going like this, right? Where's my drawing tool? The likelihood of it going like this, right? That very rarely happens, right? So we want to see if you're looking to go long. Let's see if you can get at least a break of this downward channel, this current downtrend we're in. Right, we're at a key level right here at 575.39, and that VWAP are holding at this point. Although we have discouraging price action and rejection out of here, let's see if buyers can continue to step in here and hold it. Right, just hold it for a little bit longer. If they can, see if they can push it back into these highs. Right, if you take it piece by piece, I would say that's the best approach. 2 cents, rather than thinking it's going to get all the way there. There's a lot of obstacles it needs to get past, right? At least from a scalping standpoint. Playing game at VWAP. So you're taking the VWAP long or short off the VWAP, Vinkat. You're taking that bad boy up or down. So we got 17 people. The earlier stream did get disconnected, guys, so I do apologize for that. If you're just tuning in, I did get stopped out right here. Okay, so I did get stopped out here. Tried to take that bounce higher. I had that opportunity, 7-8%, but I like that double digit. And then got stopped out by the time price came into this level. Why was I monitoring this? Because I want to see if I can get that break of this downward compression, right? But once it rejected off of it, I knew that, hey, you know what? My time in this position is running out, because more than likely it's going to continue to do what it's been doing and respect that downward channel. Now it looks like it's giving up that VWAP. VWAP is at that 575.31. We're at that daily upside breaker here. and we continue to sell off. Look at the 5 minute. 5 minute, right? We continue to, we went sell block there. If we give up this daily upside breaker, right, 575 is the next whole number. But it's just, this is very similar to what took place yesterday, right? If we go back into the Discord, go to market data 25. That's the 2025 analysis. Every single day this is posted along with the weekly recap. Go open the intraday chart on for yesterday. Okay, we had that climb up, and then we had that. As soon as we came into like 11:30, we continued to trend lower. Right, so I mean, if the price action is not identical, but the overall sentiment of what direction we're heading is similar, right? Trending to the upside, trending to the downside, trending back to the upside, right? Daily upside breaker balance 575.17. When it bounced, I have taken short at trend line. Nice, nice, nice. So it looks like most of you are back. Most of you are back from our earlier stream. It did cut off. Did anyone take any other trades? Any other trades? VWAP is bouncing off that level. We're kind of getting into the middle of the day. I did take 3 trades, guys. 2 worked against me. 1 worked in my favor. Okay, so, and the thing is, I did have a little frustration from the disconnection of the stream. So I don't want to go off the rails and start taking trades everywhere. So I'm just letting the setups come to me. But again, the downside move is apparent. The downside move is apparent. If that 575.17 can't hold, right, we can continue to slide to that 575. So that's a 17-cent drop, right? Again, that adds up. Beautiful short there. I've been caught. If you're still in, manage accordingly. But beautiful short to go short off of that VWAP. If you can't see my VWAP, let me make it a little brighter. It's at that 575.13. 31. 575.31. Now you can see it. Now you can see it. Does that answer your question, 2 cents? And what zone are we in now? All right, in the chat, let me know. Do we think we get the session lows? All right, do we get the session lows before we get the session highs? What are we looking like? All right. Are we going to take out session lows first or take out session highs first? We're essentially near equilibrium, right? $575 test underway. Same zone we highlighted. Man, selling is strong here. Look at that bounce. We broke below that 1734, bounced off of it. That's what's fueling a lot of this move to the downside. If you're still in that position, Vincat, great job. Great job, Vincat, if you're still in that position. Again, if you're a first-time viewer, we go live every single day with a comprehensive pre-market program, followed by live trading, live education, live community, live interaction, live Q&As. So that's available. All right, so make sure to tune in every morning. Right, the pre-market show sets the tone for what we're going to do and sets the game plan, sets the stage. And once we're in live action, we just have to execute the game plan we have in place. Or if the market does something completely opposite of what the game plan is, we have to make mid-game adjustments. We have to call an audible. Right, mid-game adjustments. We continue to sell off, so all the shorts from up here, pre-market high, are looking good. Haha, I lost big today. I should have stopped at 7-ish PST. That's Pacific time. Were you trading SPY 2 cents? No worries. I mean, at least you're able to identify what you did wrong, and you can identify it. Just make the proper adjustments. And eventually, the thing that got me with trading is when I was losing. The rationale that ran through my mind was, if I'm able to lose this much this quickly, doing the wrong things, right? That means if I do the right things, there's an opportunity for me to make this much this quickly. The opposite, the inverse, right? And it holds true, right? So just know what adjustments you need to make. Clean up a few things, and when you're ready, get back on the horse. Man, the selling pressure is aggressive. The W pattern is the indicator of an uptrend. Yeah, the W. Yeah, it's almost like a giant double bottom here, right? If we get into these lows, I mean, if you're in shorts right now, just enjoy the ride. Enjoy the ride. Take positions where you need to. I mean, take profits where you need to. If you're not in it, don't FOMO into anything. If it meets your risk parameters, if you do see your setup, take it. But don't FOMO into anything because you see this a huge downside move, right? Just don't let that happen, right? Don't get too greedy. The W pattern, love that. Did you put this morning? Strangely enough, I was, I did do puts here. I got stopped out. So initially, I was paying attention to this zone. And I wanted to get a rejection here, kind of what took place here, and I got stopped out. But going into the day, I was paying attention to this level to see if I can get a break back to the upside. And after getting stopped out, it worked in my favor for a nice gain, right? And then stream cuts off around this time. We were paying attention to that pre-market high. I wanted a convincing acceleration above it. Nothing there. Stream cuts off, and then we come back, and then I take another trade here. And that trade went up about 7-8%. You guys can go back and watch it again, but I wanted to see if I can get that push higher. That double-digit territory is what I like. And again, I could have taken profit. I was green at some point, and then ended up giving some of that back and getting stopped out for 12-13%. Right? But guess what? Great thing I got stopped out. Great thing that I follow my risk because I was long here. So if I'm being stubborn, if I'm trying to prove a point, right, the market will evaporate everything, and look where it is now. If I try to double down, look where it is now. So take your losses on the chin. Make sure it's not a knockout blow. Okay? Make sure it's not a knockout blow. I always use the analogy of fighting because it's easy to understand. It's like if you're in a fight, keep your hands up. You can't expect to go into a fight and not get touched. Right? You still can get hit and still be victorious. Okay, think of it like that. If you watch boxing, if you watch MMA, it's very rarely you step into the octagon or the squared circle and knock someone out clean without taking any shots. Those are rare occurrences. Maybe that happens a couple times in your career, unless you're a phenom, right? But the likelihood of you being a phenom, right, in this game, especially this game where 90% of the people lose, there aren't phenoms, right? Phenoms are like unicorns. They don't exist. Okay, so just understand that, hey, you know what? You're gonna when you punch, you're gonna get punched back. So as long as you have your hands up, you're not taking too much blows. You're not taking, there's a knockout blow to my account. Even though I did size down, right? I intentionally sized down, right? Because of the time. I'm at that 11:20, 11:30 territory. So it's very, very important for me to size down. At the same time, stream was cut off. So I can possibly be a little frustrated internally. So I don't want to start overcompensating, overdoing it. I do see the setup. Get stopped out. Move along. I take that straight jab to the face. And then I just move to the side. If I decided just to keep my hands down, not be defensive, there's a knockout blow. So you have to be aware of that, guys. Right? Be aware of that. Did you put you're back? Yep, I'm back. Retired Fido. Yeah, I'm flat today. Yeah, it's been a little tricky. But there were pockets of opportunities. Plenty of opportunities. There's always opportunities, right? Some days we are able to execute on those opportunities. Some days we don't capture those opportunities, but it's very important that we have enough dry powder, have enough capital for the next day, right? I'm super new using TOS and I'm having confusion on how to stop limit. So you probably can look it up on how to set. You trying to put an automatic stop, like as soon as you put your order in, you're gonna put your stop in. So we're starting to get a little bounce off that BOG, right? Again, in this territory, where we initially had that aggressive reaction. Right, but anyone caught that to the? I think there was a Vincott who caught that to the downside. So great job, Vincott. You caught that. We're below VWAP, and we're in the midst of all these key levels once again. Right, the convergence of these 3 key levels we talked about this morning, 4 key levels if we include that whole number. Right, it's just messy when it comes into that territory. So we're not really making any We're making expansive moves off of the lows and the highs. Right, so we're grabbing liquidity, and we're hitting traffic, we're chopping around, slowly grinding, and then going the other way. So we're still in that downtrend here. VIX did bounce off that 1734. We have a new hourly candle here. So last hour it's all selling. If we break below these lows over here, it's a continuation. It's a 3-1-2 reversal actually. Strat terminology on the hourly, and 2-1-2 reversal back to the downside on the Qs. Only issue is we're right with that 574.68 is that hourly 9 EMA. Right, so where price is right now, that's where that hourly EMA is kind of sitting. So if we do slice through that with minimal interference, we can possibly see a slide, but that's a very tough spot to go short after we made that move. So wait for some sort of accumulation. I'm just trying to clean up the chart here a little bit. Looks a little messy. Yeah, you probably can pull up a tutorial. There should be a good tutorial on YouTube on how to do that. How long you been trading 2 cents? How long you been trading? Again, if you guys are trading for less than a year, if you've been trading for less than a year, I highly advise for you to use as little capital as possible. I know it's tempting. You see all these gains people are having on social media and this and this and this. The first year, think of it as tuition. That's your freshman year. You're going to learn a lot of things through losing You're going to learn a lot of things about slippage, about spreads, about greed, about fear. So I highly, highly, highly advise that you try to use an amount that you're comfortable giving to the market, right? If you have that expectation to where you have a large amount of capital, you worked hard to accumulate that capital, and you're going to start trading, and you're going to turn that capital, whatever that capital is you're going to flip it into 10x or 5x within a short period of time, right? The likelihood of that happening sustainably is 0.000000001. More than likely, what's going to happen is over time the market is going to take that capital. The market is going to liquidate you because you don't know what you're doing. Right? So it's very, very important to understand that. It's very, very important. I know it kind of takes the fun out of it, but it's the reality, right? What sucks is when people come into the market with false expectations, and they put too much money into the markets, and they lose every single penny and more, and now they want nothing to do with the markets because of their experience. So now what happens is that negative experience will not allow them to participate in the markets again. They'll have that negative outlook on the market. They'll look at it from a standpoint of gambling, standpoint of it's a scam, standpoint of it's not for me, and they won't even invest. Right? When the market year over year has been doing, I think this is a second year or third year. I think we're going to a potential third year, 20% plus return on a yearly basis. Right? That's unheard of, guys. So very, very important to position yourself strategically. I think I said it in episode 6 or 7. If you have a set amount of capital ready to deploy into the trading, cut it in half. You'll thank me later. Cut it in half right now. You'll thank me later and take half of it, and just your broker will give you 4% on half of it. So let that sit there. Right? Let that sit there. If you use the whole thing, the stat is 90% of traders lose 90% of their capital in less than 90 days. So the game is set up to where you're not even going to last 90 days if you don't know what you're doing. So the market will let you win here and there, just to build that false confidence, that false sense of hope, to build that euphoria within you to the point where you over leverage. And as soon as you over leverage, it takes it. Right? So, hate to be I'm not trying to be negative, but I'm just speaking from experience, and I'm pretty sure people who've been doing this for long enough can resonate with that message. So if someone told me that earlier, because when I came into the trading, I think my first handful of trades, right, it worked in my favor. And that was probably the worst thing that happened. The worst thing that happened is, okay, trading just started, first week, boom, 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 everything's working in your favor. Oh, this is easier than it looks, right? So it's better to temper your expectations with realistic outcomes and know that, hey, you know what? Your goals are achievable, but just like anything else, you're going to have to put in the reps, right? You're going to have to put in the reps, right? So very, very important for beginners to understand. Two weeks, okay. 2 weeks, okay. You're still in your first year, so just everything you do. So I highly recommend now look for setups that work in your favor, and buy yourself a journal, a physical journal, right? And every trade you do take, write down what the outcome was, write down how you felt when you were taking that setup, and as well, I would highly advise, before you take a trade, before you enter a trade, in your mind, build a framework to where you know where you're going to enter, you know where you're going to exit, if it goes in your favor, and if it goes against you. Okay? So have that mental framework in your mind. So put that in your mind. Before you enter a trade, say for instance, I'm going to enter this trade right here. Okay? Say I'm going to enter this, just hypothetical. I'm going to take this long. Before I even entertain the thought of taking this, I have to know where my exit is if it goes against me, and I have to know where my take profit is going to be and assess what levels are above. And if you want to be able to identify those levels, right, the ebook is available. These key levels are critical for you to have on the chart, right? So very, very important for you to go through that. Made $90 yesterday. Great job. I've been sticking to a $100 budget. Great job. Great job. Small wins add up. Helen from... Yeah, the bot automatically blocks if you send too long of a message. So if you do have something to say, Helen, just put it into a couple of sentences. All right. But I'm interested to hear what you have to say. We suck. Quit after my losses. Yeah, it's a tough game, guys. It's a tough game. Right. But if you still have a desire to trade, Helen, you have plenty of experience. You know what works. You know what doesn't work. Leverage that. Use a small amount of capital. Take your time and make the proper adjustments over time, and you'll get over the hump. Right. And again, this show is a great resource. Right. I mean, we're here. The objective is to have the most profitable community on YouTube. One trader at a time, one lesson at a time, one trade at a time, one day at a time. That's the mantra, right? So it's basically to get you profitable on whatever time frame you're on. So if you're struggling to be profitable day to day, what we're going to try to do is try to increase your outcomes on the individual trades you take. So if is it a win rate issue? Is it a setup issue? Is it a risk management issue? And people don't talk about reward management. Reward management is just as important as risk management. Are you not taking profits where you need to? Are you oversized? So you got to work those things out. Once you clean those things up, right, you'll be surprised. Right, that laundry list of things to work on gets condensed. And then now you take that same list and you condense it again and again and again and again. You just keep refining. We're getting a small relief bounce here once we broke back below that 575, but it looks like we want to retrace back into it and continue to push to the downside. What I would wait for in this case is if you're already in a position shorts, just babysit those positions. You can use that 575 as a line in the sand, and use that 575.12, which is that 50 EMA, as a line in the sand if you're already in shorts. I'll pay attention to session lows and session highs at this point. Session lows and session highs, that's what I'll pay attention to. And that session low right now is at 573.94. And that's what I'll be paying attention to. All right, so we go live every single day, guys. Make sure to subscribe. Make sure to tune in every day. Pre-market show is comprehensive. And I don't make a lot of guarantees, but I guarantee everyone will learn at least one thing from the stream. Right? You can take away one thing. One thing from the stream. And we're growing every day. So continue to show up. Each episode, I don't do any gatekeeping. I give everything I have. Right? There's no, oh, I'm going to keep this in my back pocket. No, I give everything, all the information I have, I accumulated, I give it back. Because I know what it's like to be in that position. Right? I know what it's like to be in that position where you're constantly losing, or what I had a hard time with was I'm doing the right things, and then one or two trades, you just go off the rails. And the fact that you went off the rails on those two trades, you happen to size up, you happen to just something just overtakes you, and you just give back everything you've been working for. There's that's one of the the two most frustrating feelings to me is going from green to red and having a great week, doing the right things all week, and coming into Friday or coming into the last trade of the week I take, giving a majority of that back. And now you have the weekend to sit through it. It's a tough weekend, right? So we have to, I always say the objective is to minimize the amount of risks, to minimize the amount of regrets we have on Saturday morning. That's what we're protecting. We're protecting our Saturday morning self and making sure that we wake up on Saturday morning with the minimal amount of regrets. That doesn't mean we're going to have a 100% win rate. That doesn't mean we're going to win on every single trade. But I promise you, if you stick to your risk, if you stick to your rules, your risk parameters, your take profit parameters, your the number of trades you take per day, the number of trades you take per week, if you stick to your game plan, regardless of the outcome, right? Because you can't control the outcome. Regardless of the outcome, you'll be more settled on Saturday in comparison to if you just threw the game plan out the window and did whatever you want, right? So this game has real consequences, guys. There's a dark side to this game that people don't talk about. There is a dark side to this game that people don't talk about, right? And if you don't think this will affect your personal life, it will affect your personal life, right? It will affect your family. It will affect people around you if you're taking these massive losses and not doing the right things on the chart. So if you're in that place, right? If you are in that place, maybe take a step back, okay? Take a step back. The markets are not going anywhere, okay? That's not going anywhere, right? We live in a world where things are changing constantly. Technology is taking a bunch of different things away from us. But the one thing that's gonna stand is the market. Okay, so other things can change, but the one thing that's gonna stay the same is the market. Right. So keep that in mind. So make sure you're in the right mental space when you approach this game. If you're in the wrong mental space, the market will put you in the worst mental space than you were. Right. So very important that we keep that in mind, guys. There is a side to this game that you have to be aware of. There is a side to this game you have to be aware of. It's not just unicorns and butterflies and rainbows and it's all happy-go-lucky. No, that's why I emphasize the importance of risk management. Risk management protects you from that downside. Risk management protects you from the dark side. Okay? The dark side is almost like it's looming. It's looming. The only way you can stop it is by self-control, risk management, and sticking to your game plan. Okay? It's always looming. You're always on the verge. So be very mindful and take this very seriously. Risk management, I lost left, but listening now. Awesome. I like just one ticker. You are bringing up old memories. I buried Saturdays. You will experience grief. Yes, you cannot be emotionally unregulated. Absolutely, right. I've been there, right. And that is just it's not a good feeling. I'll say that, right? So just know that's why the risk management is so important, right? I think it was last week. Yeah, last week I lost 4 trades in a row. I stuck to my risk management. I'm okay. 11%, 12%, 13% there. Okay, I'm good. I'm still gonna look for the next setup, and the next 2 trades after that, 30% plus. But if I fall in love, if I'm fixated on that trade working and I let it go beyond my stop loss, again, everyone has different risk tolerance, guys. I'm not saying your risk tolerance has to be identical to mine. I know plenty of traders who are successful and their risk tolerance is 30%. Right? But just know whatever your risk is, the reward has to match or be greater. Right? You can't have a 30% stop loss and take profits at 5%. That means you're going to have an incredible win rate. Right? So keep that in mind. And let me bring this win rate chart to your attention. Right, I want you to understand the relationship between win rate and profitability. Very, very important. Last week we went over stop losses, right? Go back to episode, I think it was episode 9. Right, episode 9 or episode 10, I talked about percentages. Why my stop loss is 10 to 15%. What's the logic behind that? Okay, very, very important. And if anyone uses TradingView, guys, use the code. You get $15 off. You get $15 off. I get $15. Right, win-win. So take advantage of that code. It's up in the link. I'm pretty sure most of us use TradingView. Let me bring this to your attention. Okay, there we go. Okay, guys, this is the math behind win rate. Okay? If you have a 50% win rate, if you're risking 1 to make 1, you're going to be break even. So what that means is, say you're risking 50 cents on your contract to make 50 cents. If you have a 50% win rate, so if you take 10 trades and 5 of them work in your favor, you're not going to make money. You're not going to lose money. You're going to be break even. You can have a 60% win rate and you'll be profitable. Same thing with the one-on-one. So risk 50 cents to make 50 cents. If you have a 2-to-1, so say if you're risking 50 cents or say if you're risking 25 cents or whatever your risk is, and you're looking to make 50 or you're looking to make double that, then now you only need a 40% win rate. Right? So you're automatically profitable. So you can see the relationship there. You can see the relation between risk reward and win rate. Right? If you have a low win rate, you're gonna have to have a high probability setup that has a massive move. So for instance, if you have a 20% win rate and you have a setup that yields you 5-to-1. So what that means is if you risk $1 and you're able to make $5, you only need to win 20% of the time. So that means you should be able to take anywhere from 7 to 8 losses. Right? You should be able to take 7 to 8 losses and still take the next 2 trades. So say in a series of 10, you'll be okay with taking 8 losses, look for your setup, and take the next 2 setups that present themselves because of your risk reward. Right? So very, very important to understand that. You don't need to have the highest win rate to be profitable. You have to identify where you are here. Where are you? Right? What's your win rate? Right? My win rate hovers between 65 and 70%, 65 to 75%. Sometimes I can be 100%, but I'm not going to be 100% forever. Sometimes on the low end, I can creep below 60. Right? But when I started creeping below 60, then it's like, okay, you know what? What's going on? Mentally, I have to check, okay, what's going on? Am I going through my regular routine? Am I doing anything different? But I like to hover between that 65 to 70%. Right? So very, very important. And my risk reward is anywhere from 1-to-1 to 2-to-1. Okay? So that's my approach. So understand this. If you're a person who cannot take losses, so if losses affect you, you're going to have a high win rate. If you don't care about losses, you just care about risk reward and you care about the next opportunity, right? then you can be somewhere here between that 4-1 to 5-1. Okay, but 4-1, 5-1 means you're gonna have to sit through some side to side action. Okay, you're gonna have to hold the target. Okay, so very, very important for people to understand this this matrix. Right, understand the win rate and understand triple top here, potential triple tops. I'm not looking to take any trades. Speaking of win rate, right? One trade worked in my favor. One worked against me. Yesterday, both trades worked in my favor. So right now, I am 3 for 2 on the week. So out of 5 trades, 3 worked in my favor, 2 worked against me. So still green on the week, small red on the day. Let me know if that makes sense in the chat. Let me know if that makes sense. And in the chat, drop what your win rate is. Right. What would you say your win rate is? If you're not sure, just give a range. Or what risk reward do you look for? Do you look for a 1-to-1? Do you look for a 2-to-1? Do you look for a 3-to-1? Right. Right, we're going back to test this zone here. Going back to test this zone. We're quickly approaching on 1 o'clock, guys. Thank you for sitting through the technical difficulties. Thank you guys for sharing some of your story. It was a value-packed episode today. We'll recap things before we conclude. But we're about 30 minutes out from wrapping up today's episode. Again, we keep slamming into this level, rejecting off of this level. So this was the primary level I was paying attention to throughout the day. If you're asking where are you getting these levels are key levels that I have drawn on my charts prior to coming into the day. If you're interested in this chart, if you use TradingView and you want these levels drawn on your chart automatically for you, you have access to that in the Discord. You have access to super charts. If you want to know the principles behind these key levels, grab a copy of the ebook. It's only $20, but that $20 will take you a long way, right? So very, very important to invest in yourself as well. If you're a stock yourself, if you treat yourself as a stock or a company, how much of your profits are you investing back in yourself? Right? Is your primary focus CapEx or OpEx? Right? So think of it like that. With all the money you're making, if you're profitable, how much of it are you putting back into yourself to make sure you stay sharp? Right? If you're not staying sharp, you're gonna fall behind. Right? So again, triple top here. We come back into that BOG 574.82, continue to reject off of that. So I'm gonna have a ton of things coming out in the future, guys. Right? I'm still deciding on how I want to do the courses. I want to do it live. I think people get more benefit out of that. So I'm still seeing how I want to do it and how I want to structure it. Right? So stay tuned. But this is just a small sample of what's going to be taking place. But the primary thing is, guys, I'm leading with education, leading with demonstration, right? To enable domination, right? That's the goal here, right? So a lot of those things are going to be coming up. So if you're interested, right, that's going to be available. But this live stream is going to be live every single day, 9 a.m. to 1 a.m. Oh, 1 p.m. not 1 a.m. 1 p.m. And today, guys, make sure to tune in to the GME earnings call at 4:30 p.m. Okay, so very, very important. So the primary focus, I'll give you a quick preview. The primary focus of the course, the live course, is going to be 1 hour, 1 ticker, 1 result. Right? So I'm going to give you the resources. I'm going to provide you with the lessons needed for you to narrow your trading universe to 1 ticker, trade for 1 hour, okay, and capitalize on moves within that first hour. Trading for 1 hour doesn't mean you're going to hold a position for 1 hour, guys. It just means you need to be available for that time. If you take your entire trade time, if we take our entire trade time throughout the week, I guarantee you it's less than an hour. It's less than an hour. So what I'm talking about is from the time I enter a position to the time I close a position, it's a matter of minutes. Right? So if we just say total trade time, right? Because this is just looking for the opportunity, but total trade time, it's literally less than an hour a week. Right? So that's going to be the primary focus. Using one ticker, right? Using that 1 hour to achieve one result. And that result is consistent profitability. Right? So it's going to be the format is going to be different. It's not going to be something you just purchase and watch a bunch of videos. It's going to be live. It's going to be live courses. Okay? Live courses. So again, we continue to slam our heads into that 575, that range we highlighted, continue to move lower. Out of curiosity, anyone in the puts? Vincut, are you still in puts? If you're in puts, you're absolutely killing it today. So we had some people making some serious gains this morning. So everyone is doing well. If we did have a red day, just make sure it's a small red. Right, make sure it's small red. Right, make sure it's small red. Small red is okay, yellow is okay. Don't turn small red into bright red. Don't turn something that's ugly into even uglier, right? Just, hey, you're not doing the right things. Hey, the market is not moving in your favor. Hey, just not your day. Right? Don't let that be a catalyst to blow up. Okay? Bigger picture. This is what we're doing. I'm running the 5 minute. Bigger picture multi-day pattern. We have the support on the 5 minute forming, stemming from the midday lows yesterday. So midday lows formation, first touch after hours, second touch after hours. We have yet to make a third touch. You can technically, if you want to kind of do this, you can do that. Right? But again, patterns are subjective. Okay? Patterns are subjective. Support and resistance are subjective. You need to have objective ways of marking levels on your chart. And that's what changed the game for me. Have an objective system that can remove what I feel. Right? The more of myself I can remove, the better off I am. Right? Very, very important. Especially when it comes to trading. So we have these session lows here. Those session lows line up nicely with the support down here. But even that, we come back into that level, retrace, reject. That's a zone. We have a key moving average in there. So high probability setup there. Right. So that's the main emphasis for the course is going to be high probability setups. Right. Lining you up with some high probability setups that you look for at a certain time. So your only job is going to be to show up during that time, to execute, and to manage risk. That's it. That's going to be your only job. Right. So very, very important. Yes, took puts again. Nice. Yes, makes sense. Thank you, sir. Nothing. Well, you went from nothing burger to nice downside. You caught the downside. Great job. Again, guys, tune into the GME. The earnings stream, we tend to get a lot of people in there. So I had a ton of fun doing Nike. Last week we had, I think, 160, close to 200 people concurrent. So the channel is growing every day. So with your support, we grow every single day. Make sure to share. We're growing this organically. No marketing. No gimmicks. Just putting in the work every single day. Right? So make sure to tune in today at 4:30. And once the earnings does conclude, I will give my take on GME. I'll do some research to build an informed opinion. So we'll look at the fundamentals. I'll give you my opinion, right? Not financial advice, and then we'll look at what the charts are telling us. Right, so that's how I kind of like to run the earnings. So you jump on the earnings call, we listen to the call, I open up the financials. As they're talking, I might do some annotations on the fundamentals. Once the call concludes, we go right into the fundamentals, the key takeaways. I'll give you my opinion, and then we go to the technicals, and then we wrap up. So that's what we're gonna continue to do with these key names during earnings, right? So earnings season is we have another earnings season around the corner actually. So we have Tesla. I think Tesla's reporting in a few weeks. So in a few weeks, Tesla will be reporting. So that one will be big, but it's gonna be very, very important, informative. So we gave up that 9 EMA on SPY, that 574.63. See if we stay below it. If we do, we have room into that 573.36. If you're using further data contracts, you can sit through some of the side to side. VIX is bouncing off that 1734, continues to hold above it. We continue to slide to the downside. On the 5-minute, we are at this, depending on how you drew your upward compression, we are sitting right at support, right? That multi-day pattern, including closing bell and pre-market data, or after hours of pre-market data. So that's how it looks, pretty much like that. Formation, first touch, second touch, third touch, fourth touch. If you want to stretch it out, it can be between these two ranges, these two patterns. I thought you closed already. Today's live a couple hours. Yeah, what happened was there was a technical issues. So there was a technical issue with the streaming, lost connection, and then I had to come back. Right, so if this stream ever ends like that, guys, that's not how I end my stream. Right, I try to keep it as professional as possible. I'm not gonna just jump off the stream and just cut it off. Right, that's probably a technical issue. But yeah, so we'd like to go into that 1 o'clock, 1:30, unless there's a catalyst. Yeah, but we did have the technical difficulties earlier. What ended up happening was it kicked me off that stream. I lost connection to the internet. Regained connection, stopped the stream, started the GME stream, ended that stream, and started another stream. Right, so so I have to go back and create the template for the GME stream again. But again, that comes with it. That comes with it. So we just have to deal with it, and I'll see it as an opportunity. Right, so so yeah, I did take a trade up here. So right after I came back from the stream, did take it to the upside, did work in my favor, didn't reach 10%, then I ended up getting stopped out. Right, but thankfully I got stopped out. Right, thankfully I took my loss and moved along. Right, so again, this thing continues to push to the downside. If you're looking for a possible upside spike or upside bounce, maybe this session low liquidity grab align with this level here. Maybe take that, very high risk. But the way things are moving, we're moving to the downside. We can't deny that. We can't deny the downtrend. But if you are trying to take it lower, we'll wait for a pop and try to take it back lower. But again, VIX continues to hold above that level, and we just continue to grind lower. We continue to grind lower. Just came back. Yeah, no worries. We'll be back tomorrow, guys. Again, make sure to like the video. Make sure to subscribe. If you're a first-time viewer, welcome aboard. And I try to make this as value-packed as possible for everyone on board, right? Again, guys, we're relatively, we're a tiny channel, right? We're impacting a lot of real people's lives, right? I'm impacting a lot of people's lives in the right way. We're doing it the right way. We're a tiny channel. We're making a lot of noise, and we're going to continue to grow the right way. So the size of the channel is going to depend on your support, right? I can't grow it on my own. All I can do is show up, be consistent in the things that I provide, try to provide as much value, insight to help you get to the next level. And if you really appreciate that, continue to share. And you guys, a lot of you show up every single day. And I hope your trading performance is reflecting that as well, right? I hope from the time you started tuning in to now, whatever system you use, you're refining yourself. Right, it's a slow process, right? And hopefully you're seeing a little change in your P&L or a little more consistency, right? And that's what we're here for, to hold each other accountable. I think I said it in a previous episode. The most dangerous part of trading is trading alone, right? And you have no one to look over your shoulder when something is not going right, right? You have no one to say, hey, don't trade here. You have no one to say, hey, don't double down. It's just you versus you. You can do whatever you want. You can, if you want, you can use your entire position. You can use your entire account on one position, right? So it's trading is a very lonely sport, but at the same time, that's what makes it dangerous as well, right? It's a battle between yourself and the market, but at the same time, being in a community with other people doing battle with themselves in the market gives you a connection to others who are walking that journey as well. So very, very important to have that community and cultivate that community and build that culture, right? On cue, no surprise, we're bouncing there, right? You can see, right? If you're still in the trenches, you know the protocol. Don't overtrade. Look for high probability setups. Stick to your plan. If you are green, make sure you stay clean. Make sure you end the day green. If you're red, don't make it any more red. Foot off the gas. Start winding down. Start reflecting and get ready for the next day. Right? We can get a break of this downward compression. We're pushing into midday. We tend to see these midday reversals taking place. It happened yesterday. Could happen today, but that's pretty much all we see here. Right, so we pushed into these highs, pre-market high, kind of did a head and shoulder here, slanted head and shoulder, continued to slide, came near those session lows, didn't quite get there. Now we're bouncing here. We're probably diverging here. If I put the RSI here, sometimes you can feel the divergence. I don't know if anyone else can sense divergence, right? I wouldn't be surprised if we're diverging here. So let me put the RSI there and see if we're diverging. Right? See if my 6 cents of RSI is accurate. So we can see, okay, so we have a low here, lower low, all right, there you go. Yeah, we are diverging. So we made this low here. We made this low here on RSI. We broke below that 30. We make the lower low on SPY. We make the lower high on RSI. So yeah, we are diverging, right? All right, so you can kind of feel it. Over time, you can feel it. So how did everyone do today? How did everyone perform today? Let me get a green if you're green in the chat. Let me get red if you're red. And yellow if you're break even or no trade. All right, let's get some. How did everyone perform? We just can't seem to get above that 574.82. Just came back green and clean. Nice, nice, nice. Yellow. Okay, that's good. Attempt at that break here. If you're waiting for that break, wait for that higher high hold. Acceleration retest. We have a triple top up here. No coincidence. It's in the zone between that 575 and that 574.82. Green, nice. Green, nice. Great job, guys. Great job, guys. Now your job is to stay green. Stay green and clean. Right, you did all the heavy lifting. Now stay green and stay clean. Yeah, you guys showed up, guys. You guys showed up, so I appreciate it. Stream ended, and the stream still, the chat still came up, showed up. So we're building a very strong core. We're building a very strong core. It's not about the amount of people we have, guys. It's about the quality of the people and the core we have. We're building a strong core. So green, green, yellow, green. So 3 greens, 1 yellow. Before we leave, who thinks this is going to break? And this is the catalyst. Is this the fuel? Does this get us back above 575? Back above VWAP? Or is this a trap? Trap or break? Trap or break here? Trap or break? Break. We'll see. We got to get above those that key zone up there. If we can do it, good to go. Again, guys, 4:30 GME earnings call. And I also have a Lululemon earnings call as well. And I'm working on a video to upload for Saturday. So be on the lookout for that. Another strategy video. just the stagnant price action is what's killer. If we continue to trade in this tighter range, right? After a certain time, I might hop over to 1 DTE, right? I mean, look at this. The range is continuing to shrink, right? So midday, about yesterday, we continued to sell off all the way until 2 o'clock, 2:30, and then we had that bounce. Okay, that's Monday. So let's take a look at last week, Tuesday. Last week, Tuesday, is where we were. This was before FOMC, remember? Who remembers last week, Tuesday? It was a mess. Right? So that's not a good good illustration. But let's go to last week, Monday. Right? About that, we're getting at midday, anywhere from midday to late 1 o'clock, early 2 o'clock. That's when we're starting to rally. Right? It's not me saying it, it's what the data is telling us. Right? So you can go back in here and go through everything. Right? Every single day this is posted, and we review it during the pre-market show. We review this during the pre-market show. But if you're in the Discord, you get the summary for every single day and the breakdown. And this is the weekly prep for this week. You get this sent to you every Sunday as well. Weekly prep for this week, to give you an example, is what it looks like. All right, so it's basically a PDF of everything you need to be aware of for this week, recapping last week and things you need to be aware of. Close this out. Close this out. Right. Recap of the week. Performance, weekly performance on the heat map. And I post some charts that are interesting, like this one I posted. Fed remains on track to continue cutting rates through, though the pace has slowed. So this blue line represents the Fed's fund rate, and this yellow line represents, or this gold line represents PCE, and PCE is the primary thing the Fed uses to gauge that inflation, and their target is 2%. The Fed's target is 2%. So you can see 2022, 2023, we're all the way above 7%, right, on the PCE, and that's when they had to raise the rates. And now we're slowly, as PCE is coming down, the rates are expected to come down. So this is forward looking. So by 2026, we should be below 4%. By 2027, we should be between that 3 to 4%. By 2028, we should be between that 3%. So for us to get back to 2%, right, it's not going to happen overnight, and lots of things can take place. This is way out in the future. So many things can take place between that, but that's the projected track. The Fed wants to decrease the rates, but PCE has to follow suit. So very, very important. And you get the weekly recap, and you also get this on the week. So this is bonds and international stocks have delivered solid year-to-date performance. So this compares fixed income. This compares equities. So this is large caps, mid caps, small caps. Small caps are down 7%, mid caps down 2%, large caps down 3%, and international developing large cap stocks up 10%. So international markets are actually where a lot of the money is flowing into. International small cap and emerging markets, but we can see the international large cap stocks, primarily Chinese stocks, are what's leading the way. So this was based on last Friday. On the fixed income side, yeah, you can see investment grade bonds, international bonds, emerging market debt, U.S. high yield, cash. Right, so this gives you an idea of where the money is flowing into. Right, very, very important. You might say, hey, what does this have to do with scalping? This has to do, we have to educate ourselves all the time what's going on in the market. What goes on in the economy. What goes on in the economy, what goes on in the market sets the tone for what goes on the charts, right? So I'm not saying you need to get your economics degree, but you need to have a good understanding of the larger picture of what the economy and the market is doing. And of course, highlight the upcoming catalyst, be aware of those things. And then we have GameStop and Lululemon on watch. Primary thing I was watching into this weekend was that upward compression, 200 EMA, right? Question that I posed was, do we go first leg accumulation, second leg, or do we reclaim that 200? So we found out on yesterday, we gapped up above it. Now we're above that 200, right? So we're going to pay close attention to that 200 and how we continue to trade in that territory. So that's a quick rundown of the weekly recap that you get. Very, very informative. We're starting to push higher. So anyone who said higher, starting to move. So this is available in the Discord. Jorge, it's available in the Discord. So every day I send this. Every day is posted here in the market data. You get the pre-market. You get the pre-market stuff as well, right? And you get access to my trading view chart as well, and the 500 plus hours of live trading lessons as well, right? So that's available in the Discord. If you guys want this to be sent to your email, right, every week. I know some people don't use Discord. If you want this to be in the emails, I'll find a way to get this sent to your email every week or every day to get that recap. So I'll probably have to do that with a Patreon. Okay, for that weekly newsletter, for that daily and weekly newsletter. All right, but it's very, very informative. So what this does is you don't have to go everywhere and find this. It's already there for you. It takes 10 minutes, 15 minutes to go over, and boom, you're ready for the week. Right? You know what took place last week? Right? Gives you a quick rundown. Rundown what happened in the FOMC minutes. And then rundown of the technicals. Rundown of the overall economy. And any charts that I see that might be helpful to paint the picture. You get a feel for that. And then within 10 minutes, you're caught up and ready for the week. Right? So trying to be as efficient as possible so you can focus most of your time on the trading part. VIX is starting to break down below that 1734. If we hold below that 1734, continue to slide to the downside, reclaim that 575 is in play. Push above that VWAP 575.17, 575.19 will probably be the catalyst for us to push into a potential pre-market high test. But we need the VIX to hold below 1730 and continue to free fall into 1730, 1725, 1720, so on and so forth. If we can push all the way into that 1720 or 1715, that can give us potential room. So it's like the VIX gives you an opportunity to push. So if the market wants to move, it's like it's perfect window to move. Sometimes it doesn't. Right? It's like it has these pockets of time where it has an opportunity to move. And sometimes, or most times, it does. It just, when that opportunity is there, he just goes. Right? So again, thank you guys for tuning in. Hope you found value. If you're a first-time viewer, make sure to like, make sure to subscribe. Nick B. Kim. Yeah, you gotta, the stream will let you write in all caps. Right? That's automatic. So if you have if you're gonna make a comment, just let me know what the comment is. How do you trade execution profit loss for the box and Webull to the screen? Which tool option into? So this is my stream setup. The way I set it up is using a streaming software. I like to set it up like this. I can have the Webull chart here, but I like the trading view chart. I can have the Webull chart here, but I like the trading view chart better. Right. Because you can have multiple things here, and I like the setup here, the way it looks. So it's aesthetically pleasing to me and very comfortable for me. Anyways, guys, thank you for tuning in. We hit the time. It's 1 hour. It's 1 o'clock. So again, if you're still in the trenches, proceed with caution. If you're green, stay clean. If you're red, right, take a step back, reassess. Don't double down and do more damage. There's always more opportunities today. We're still early in the week. We're only Tuesday, right? Tomorrow there's gonna be plenty of opportunities. So make sure to tune into our stream later this afternoon at 4:30. I'll prepare for that. Grab your copy of the ebook. Join the Discord. Thank you guys for tuning in, for sitting through some technical difficulties. I wish you nothing but prosperity and profitability. Have a great rest of your day. See you guys tomorrow, and God bless.